The following documents that I have here for you are taken directly from the declassified FISA application and renewals. This is the FISA for Carter Page. I consider it to be a sweeping warrant that is still mostly redacted regarding its specific locations and areas to which it applied, but I also feel that it uses references to intelligence from many years prior to this investigation and from information that was readily available to the public, even though the FBI claims it wasn't deemed public information. I also take into consideration the application dates and examine whether the FBI obtained information when they said they obtained the information, or if they obtained the information prior to them claiming when they obtained this information, because the source that was compromised was known to be compromised prior to the FBI starting the investigation into the Trump campaign, and definitely prior to the FISA application for Carter Page. So according to this, we are also going to see that the leaks that I'm referring to are time-stamped by the Wikileaks website, and the referral to the treasure trove of dirt is still available online for you to access at your leisure. We're going to start by going into the timeline with the Page FISA application and Page's long-time work with the Russian government. The long-time work is detailed in many pages over the application, and according to the FBI, this made him a target for meddling by the Russian government because of his new position in the Trump campaign as a foreign policy advisor, in addition to George Papadopoulos. So they based this accusation upon some open source information from 2004 to 2007. Most of the application that isn't redacted is, from what I can see, a construction of a guilty by association assessment of Page's business proceedings. It identifies also a U.S.-based law firm that was hired by the identified U.S. person to investigate ties between candidate number one and Russia. It also uses information to insinuate there is a network of information between the Trump campaign and the Russian government. Footnotes on page 17 clarifies some of the dates of the information, but also it details the relationship of sanctions from 2014. That kind of explains the focus shift that happened during the impeachment from Russia interference to Ukraine information, in my opinion. And if we unfurrow the information from the sources and the plugged-in quotes obtained after the fact, the FISA warrant looks like a long grocery list. It also feels sort of pieced together with the information that we can now put into context with the declassified Papadopoulos transcripts and the corroborated dossier information. The actual timeline that we can put together by using these documents differs so greatly from the timeline of the media, which also happen to be referenced as information sources in the FISA warrant applications, that we can only concur that there is some malicious intent that is still further deep into this mess that we are seeing in front of us. If we continue to analyze this further, we think about the facts. We know that the Hillary Clinton server was set up on an unsecured network. We know that her emails were known to have been hacked in 2015 by media acknowledgement and the International Intelligence Agency admittance to the hacking being done in 2015. Also, we can look at the Wikileaks website. It has been dropping hacked intelligence specifically marked with a creation date of 10/28/2010 since at least March 3rd, 2016, especially with files labeled Hillary Clinton email archive. We also know that she had money invested in the Steele dossier, and only after the leaks became public did the FISA documents and supposed investigation begin. Seemingly, this would be the hindsight explanation to how a DNC candidate and former Secretary of State server came to be compromised. Furthermore, in my opinion, it exposes yet another weakness in our intelligence, hearkening back to gross negligence that I'm sure you are all well aware of with 9/11, to the fact that we are not giving credible information a good hard look, but we are giving incredible information too much of a look, when sometimes the answer is right in front of our face. A combination of bad politics and backing the wrong horse in this such equation turns into one of the biggest scandals that isn't even making a blip on the mainstream media radar, which it really wouldn't surprise you when you consider the role they played in leaking the information the way that they did. But nonetheless, the Wikileaks page is still up, and I will have a link in the description box so that you can check that out. The documents are becoming rapidly declassified, even if they are highly redacted. And I think, again, Dan Bongino is really good at telling you who the players are. And you can look at that again at your leisure. But I'll leave you to yourselves to decide what really happened in Russiagate. But the only thing that I will say is, in addition to the abuse that I believe is presented by the evidence in the FBI's documentation for the warrants, the charges, the transcripts, there was also a recommendation for corrective action to be taken by the Department of Justice and the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court. On December 17, 2019, the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Court ordered a review to propose possible changes to the FISA warrant application process. By January, it was announced that the standards for opening a criminal investigation on a presidential campaign were to be raised, and also in March, the court banned the officials involved with the misinformation in the application from appearing in court, and the initial audit of the FBI is released as the Horowitz report. On April 3rd of this year, enough evidence was considered to be gathered in order to have a specific review of 29 FISA applications viewed as flawed by the General Inspector. Now that we know everything up until this point and how we got into the beginnings of Russiagate or Spygate or Obamagate, this absolutely brings everything that we have talked about, from Hillary's emails to how we got into the Trump collusion with Russia, and also where they got the Ukraine narrative. I hope that this information has been useful, and I will catch you guys on the next one.